welcome back to the Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, here in Big Condo Online. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell. Or also, when we have guests like today's guest, you can actually, make comments down below. She should hopefully watch it and make comments back to you. But either way you look at it is that I first want to introduce our guest. She's a therapeutic coach, a performance coach. She says she knows NLP, and you know me. And basically, I would like to welcome Martine Gibson. How are you doing, Martine?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me here. It's good to be here.
Well, listen, mutual friends, mutual interests. This is all indeed great. But before we go into it, I just want to let people know you are in a new kind of set. We have done a new redesign of the studio, which we got these fancy little hanging microphones. We got these swivel chairs, but hopefully people won't swivel in. But I just wanted to say that you're the first guest in the new set.
Hey, I'm loving it. Very nice as well.
Oh, man,
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. So, Martine, as a therapeutic coach, it's kind of like we love, as usual, to bring in guests who can speak on to mental health, and there's all very different variations and everything like that. And, it's pretty much, we say, oh, let's start this conversation, but you were also open, as I often said to people, I study transpersonal psychology, which is kind of like putting yourself into the mix, and you kind of was open with a bit of your origin story. You don't have to go into too deep about it, but I thought there was something that was really interesting to me when you were talking about your past, is the term two tribes.
Yeah.
Now, in Liverpool, you probably know this term and everything, but can you just tell us a little bit about, the beginning for you?
Yeah. So, my journey started when I was born, but I suppose when we're looking into what I do, it was when I was 10. And my brother, he was suffering with his mental health. And when I was 10, he was sectioned. But before I go into that, the term two tribes comes from my family's history. So I am one of 5 children. And there's myself and my older brother who are mixed race. And then I have got 3 other siblings, 2 sisters, and a baby brother, who we call a baby, but he's the tallest one of the lot. And they're white.
Yeah.
So there were things said to us as we were growing up, and obviously to my mum, two tribes, because there was the black tribe and there was the white tribe. So
but that must be really kind of interesting, as well as probably hardships. I mean, growing up in the olden days here in Liverpool, but there are a lot of mixed race families and everything like that. Yeah. But then to have 2 colors, as you were saying, in siblings. I was just curious, like in school, you guys must have been in the same schools with each other.
Yeah.
And then after your brother, had his experience where he was sessioned, you became like the mom, didn't you? Or helping out your mom, becoming like mom. But you didn't like that, though, did you?
No. I suppose my mum was a single parent, so she raised all 5 of us by herself. And the way she raised us was with love.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we didn't have or what we did have. We were raised with love, and we were raised to be close. So we all looked out for each other. But school, I only went to school with one of my siblings because of the age gaps between my older brother and myself.
Yeah.
My next sibling is 13 months younger than me, and then the other 2 didn't start school until after I'd moved on. Ooh, banging the mic. So, so I only went to school with one sibling, but she was my younger sister and she was white.
Yeah, so how was that? That's what I mean, because I'm just kind of saying, this is my sister. You don't lie.
This is it. And it was always... How is she your sister? Is she really your sister?
God,
and then I felt the need to explain, well, we've got the same mum, but we've got different dads. My dad's black, her dad's white. And then we go, so you're half sisters. And that was No, I didn't like that at all because there was no halves there. She was my sister.
Exactly. You know,
Still
Papa
is.
was a Rolling Stone, and so I have like, four sisters from four different mothers. So I mean, like, it's kind of like, but we're still siblings. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And everything. So no, I totally agree with that. That
Yeah.
must be hard and everything. But then also too, though, is that like so, dealing with psychology or mental health at such a young age, do you think that had any influence into the role that you moved into in life as a therapeutic
Oh
coach?
gosh, massive, massive, massive influence. It was my reason for being,
Mm.
and I suppose it affects you from day one, from when it starts. But it wasn't until later on in life, in my 30s, when I decided I need to give something back. I need to do something because I never felt confident and
Mm.
capable before that. I always felt before that I wasn't good enough, that, oh, no one's going to employ me, or I'm not smart enough to do those things, until I attended a coaching program to become a coach. And then it was that changed my life, that
Now,
instilled.
now,
So,
now, wait a minute! Don't bury the
no,
lead. Everybody knows John Haynes.
yeah.
John Haynes, has been doing performance coach training for years here in
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool, and a lot of people have probably experienced these classes in one way or another and
Yeah.
everything. And so I mean, yeah. So you're a student of the master.
The master.
Yeah.
I am, yes, I am. So yeah, John Haynes, the International Coaching Academy. So I done that back in 2013, and it literally changed my life. I grew
Mm.
up. I grew up there, literally found myself there, and it was such a liberating experience for me. And it was just like, wow, there's a whole new world out there, and I've got a place in it. So I found my place.
And so, as you terminology, well, um, even though you say you're a therapeutic coach, you announced that this was like a performance coach that you were doing, that you learned how
Yeah.
to do. And so I asked you, like, give me an example of it, because you were saying that something about the present and the future and all of that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but then what you ended up specializing in. So why don't
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit more about what performance coaching is?
Okay, so I call myself a therapeutic coach, and what that is it embodies a few different things. So you've got your counselling and psychotherapy, you've got your personal performance coaching, which a lot of people know as life coaching. It incorporates mindfulness practices, and it incorporates some NLP practices as well. So it's all of those things rolled up into one. Now, when you look at the different separate elements, there's not many people out there that can do all of them together. And I think the reason why I do that is because people don't fit into boxes. We weren't born to fit into boxes. We were born to stand out and be absolutely unique. One service, one theory, one practice does not fit all.
And there are so many different ones, they just changed the names of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So the reason why I do what I do is because I embrace everybody's uniqueness, that we are all individuals and we were all born to shine. So the way I do my service is I make sure I tap into that person's uniqueness,
yeah.
into their style and what they need, and I tailor my services to them rather than them having to fit in to my services.
Well, I just thought it was interesting when you said about it was about the present and the future.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of psychotherapy is about the past.
Yeah.
So how does that come into
Yeah.
play?
So I can go across all three. So
Yeah.
when you think of a counsellor, people generally say that counselling is about dealing with the present moment. But I say everything is about dealing with the present moment.
True.
Then you've got your psychotherapy, which goes into your past, your childhood, personality development, and all those things. And then you've got your life coaching or your personal performance coaching, which looks at the present moment and your future goals. But what if you had a service that looks at all that and helps you processes the stuckness?
Yeah.
Helps to process the things that you've brought from your past to your future that are keeping you stuck and not being able to move on to achieve the goals you want to achieve your dreams. So that's what I do. And a lot of therapists will say, well, that's what I do as well. We all have got our own individual ways of doing it, but what I do is I incorporate practices and tailor them to the
Yeah.
person rather than the person fitting in.
But
to a
that's why
box.
when you said that's why you found that you've been finding yourself specializing in anxiety
Yeah.
and stuff. So I mean, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah. So it was kind of, I just niched in it naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It was not something I decided, right, I'm going to deal with anxiety. That's what I'm going to specialize in. It was the place where I was getting really, really good results, like exceptionally good results. So I don't know whether I've got time to tell a quick story about a client that I
Yeah, go
worked
ahead.
with.
Quick
Yeah, 'cause
story is always quick.
So a client that I had, she came to me age 58 and she had a nervous breakdown at the age of 20 and had been seeing psychologists and psychiatrists for 38 years, was on an abundance of medication, built her back garden wall up to 12 foot because she was absolutely frightened of people. Never went out without a carer, didn't go to the supermarket, didn't go to shops, didn't walk her dogs, stopped driving. She hadn't been driving for 7 years by the time she came to me. And it was basically, I've tried everything. I've tried everything. You're my last hope. And it was just like, gosh, do you know what I mean? This poor lady. 18 weeks later, she was driving again. She was going shopping again. She was walking the dogs. She was meeting people for lunch. She was going outside on her own and driving by herself. And in the 18 weeks, she'd lost 2 stone in weight and reduced her medication.
Wow. Is this like after working with you?
18 weeks.
Now, let's talk about the magic powers here, because it's not really magic, is it? It's like in a way, it's about, like, as they say, it's a difference between active listening and reflective listening. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
You know, so where it's like in that essence, it's like about 90% of people go through life without being heard.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and so what they need to do is finding, like, someone like yourself, you know, who could actually help them break through these kind of things is through the art of, like, the difference between active and reflective listening.
Yeah.
You know, which is really kind of like being able to, let's say, what would you say is the best one, active or reflective listening?
I think they're both good, but I think when you look at reflective listening, you are reflecting back to a person what they've said. And in that moment, that person, you see them go, and just take a breath.
You heard me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, somebody understands me.
I've been screaming for so loud in the chaos of the storm of my mind.
Yes.
And because, you know, I'm just talking because nobody listens anyway, when you respond back to me of things that I've actually said, it is such a relief in most cases, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think we've just kind of like released the secrets of the universe for most of those therapists out there. But I'm just saying.
Can we edit that bit out?
No. Because you can't pretend to reflectively listen.
You can't.
So this is the thing, because, like, the deal is that reflective listening is not about what should I say? It's not about judgment.
No, it's not.
And it's not about advice. And see, so many people so busy want to do both.
Yeah. Or saving and rescuing.
Or saving them. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's 4 things.
Yeah.
So listen, we could give away the secrets, but you still have to have the empathic quality
Yes.
to be able to do that. And one of those things is, like you also were saying, it's like, you know, part of your skill sets or in your tick boxes is like talking, right, with the one-to-one, but body language.
Yeah.
You know, and establishing a rapport, which you felt was more than rapport. It was.
It's the essence, isn't it? It's the key
focus.
to everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because when you think of communication, it's 80% non-verbal.
There we go. See, look at that. And
Drop the mic.
Mic has been dropped. Because that's the thing, though, isn't it, Martine?
Yeah.
Is the fact that you know, you can't pretend to counsel. I mean, I was kind of like saying, it's not like I'm not going to do a rant. I'm not going to do a rant, I swear. But it was kind of like I was saying, there's so many people who put a shingle out, call themselves counselors, take a course, and all of that other kind of stuff. And then they're just busy taking people's money because they're not actually giving that. No, I never name names. I'm just saying. But that's what people want, is someone like yourself who is actually kind of like, I'm in there with you, you know, and this is our journey that we're going on together.
Yeah.
That's what you
Absolutely.
said, and everything like that. You know, now the thing about it is that, you know, I was like thinking about something where we were kind of like sharing our like therapeutic journeys, and you know, and we had different names for different things. So for people out there, right, you know, they have that voice, that negativity that is always in their heads,
Yeah.
right? Now, I said from my training, we call it the ego voice, right? That you have to just kind of like and put in the closet. But you had an interesting term for it.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
The poison parrot.
The poisoned parrot.
Yes.
Obviously, because the parrot's on your shoulder, right? But go ahead. Tell us about the poisoned parrot.
So, the poison parrot is when we have those niggling voices in our head, those voices that tell us that, you know, you're not good enough, you're no good, nobody's going to like you, you're not going to be able to do that. It's this, visualize that voice being a poison parrot. And then when that voice is there and niggling away in your ear, you get to flick it off your shoulder. You physically just flick it. You know, like you're dusting yourself off, like the dance.
Oh, yeah, like a Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And, you know, you can do it anywhere. Nobody will know what you're doing. They just think that you're getting some fluff off your shoulder or something like that. But you're really flicking the poison parrot off.
Yeah.
And, you know, you say to it in your head, you know, get lost or go away. Or whatever word you want to use. Mine didn't have a pleasant word, but...
But it's yeah, okay. But it is sometimes, it sounds very simple.
Yeah.
Especially when you're saying it to somebody else who's been dealing with it for a long time. But then again, is that like this kind of like where neurolinguistics come into play as well, because it's like people have to kind of like keep repeating things as a mantra for them to make it stick, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, you could keep doing what you have done and you'll always get what you've gotten.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Or you could change. You know, it's kind of like if you wandering around in a forest and you can't see the forest for the trees. You know, it's like, you know, it's very simple to be like, take yourself off the board and put yourself into a different forest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to magically fly over there, but it's like what you have to convince yourself, I can do it now. I may not have done it then, but I can do it now. And that's where the support comes in, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose when you're talking about those types of things, and I think it's the repetitiveness of things and the consistency. If you keep doing it, then you build your confidence up.
Yeah.
And it's like that psychological, physiological combination. So it's like you could be walking around all day for the first 3 weeks like this. You know, and then as the time goes by, you'll notice you've stopped doing it as much.
Yeah.
Because you build your confidence up and you build your awareness and you gain control to where the parrot doesn't control you any longer. You control the parrot.
Yeah.
You get to tell it to go away. But yeah, I think it's just about doing things consistently and repetitive, and it builds confidence.
Yeah, and I was actually like, so I mean, I asked you, what is the relationship between like guilt and shame?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like as far as like, you know, what does that mean to you?
Oh gosh, it's deep, isn't it? Guilt and shame.
Oh my God, we've just walked down a well.
I know.
Slide.
I've dropped in the pool. Yeah, I think when it comes to guilt and shame, they're so closely related. But for me, guilt's more of a driver. Shame's like the hiding away in shame. The guilt is, it drives us to make some decisions, and sometimes those decisions are really bad for us.
But it also, as you said, like it keeps us stuck, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like we just stepped in it.
Yeah.
We could call it quicksand or we could call it something else, but we just stepped in it. But it keeps us stuck because it's kind of like what happens is without guidance, you know, a lot of people are driving themselves with guilt and shame, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, and that usually comes from some past event or something that has happened. Then it builds into their cells to the point where they are actually, you know, do I have to do this? I've been doing this for so long. I'm 20, I'm 40, I'm whatever and everything. So I think I just keep on doing it. Or they could try and get out of it.
Yeah.
Which is why they could probably seek out a person like yourself in that way. And that aspect is like, what do they call that? Like where you take note and stuff like that, or I forgot the word. It was fancy, but in that case, it's like we're just going through life, aren't we? We're just
Yeah.
existing. We're surviving
Yeah.
as a people and stuff like that. But that's where like when we talk about mental health, it's like it's such a broad topic.
Huge.
That listen, maybe just in the communication, one-on-one, like as you're talking about, is it that's all people need to do, isn't it?
Communicate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think when I look back on the development of certain mental health illnesses, and while some of them are genetic and hereditary and life events and things like that, a lot of them can be eliminated or alleviated through communication.
Yeah.
Early intervention is key as well, but it's people having that openness and the trust and knowing that they've got someone there that they can trust to talk to, because of the whole stigma around mental health and things like that, which is a whole big other conversation that we could have. But it's huge. Yeah. It's huge.
No. And I think what I was just trying to say there was just the fact of that, like when I was talking about that, is it's never too late.
Never.
It's never too late to change. Just as it's never too late to. And the relief of that is huge.
Yeah.
It's tantamount, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But a lot of people are scared. I mean, you come from my generation, I like to think, where it's like mental health, autism, all those were dirty words, weren't they?
Yeah.
And like if somebody tried to say, "Oh, I'm struggling with my mental health," you go, "Ooh, right?" Or you could come closer to that person and say, "I'm struggling with it too."
Yeah. I think sometimes those words still are dirty as well. To use your words, some people still do see them as dirty words and they don't want to go near it and they shy away from it because through fear they don't know what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And obviously right now there are so many places and training companies and people that are out there, like Sean Liddell, when you had him on his company, he does mental health first aid, and it's all about educating people and raising awareness and simple acts and things like that. But no, you are right in what you're saying. It's never too late, because like I told you about that lady, she started when she was 20. She thought by the age of 58 there was no hope.
Yeah.
It was a last resort, and it was like, what do I do now? And she thought that was it for the rest of her life. But at 58, she got to turn her life around. The oldest client I've ever worked with is an 81-year-old lady. It's never too late.
No, it's never.
Never.
But speaking of that, I just wanted to just go back to your brother for a second because, like, as you were saying, it was hard, like as a child and what he was dealing with, but he was also integral to you because as your older brother, like, he took care of you, did your hair and all that other kind of stuff. And like, and he's went through, we don't have to go through it all, but he went through like a hard struggle.
Yeah.
But he's coming out of it now and everything. So I want to say a happy ending on that a little bit.
Yeah, so for such a long time, he has struggled with his mental health. Such a long time. It's been a harrowing experience for him. Yeah. But he, in January this year, he got himself a new apartment and he now lives independently, and it's the first time in his life he's actually lived independently. Yeah. So it's a massive, massive step forward, a massive milestone that he's reached, and I'm really proud of him. He's got a few more battles to go. Yeah. As we've all got our own little battles that we all face. But in terms of him and his happy ending, and an amazing conversation that I had with him. He was talking about possibly getting a job or doing some volunteering. And literally less than 12 months ago, that was just like not possible. Yeah. And now look at him. He's just, the what ifs.
No, exactly. But it's also like, I love those like those little milestone triumphs. Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of his story, obviously, but it's just good to know that, after hardship of the past, that you can come out into the light of the present.
Absolutely.
So, but basically also too is, so you've been self-employed for 18 months now. Yeah. And everything. Good on you.
Thank you.
And everything, I mean, you obviously loving what you're doing
Love it.
and working successfully, but you're also looking into moving into workshops that are not just online Zoom workshops that we've been doing for the past year.
Yeah.
You're looking actually to get yourself out there. So
Yeah.
give us a taste of like what kind of workshops you're offering.
Okay. So come the new year, hopefully, I want to be delivering some workshops. So some of the workshops I'm going to be delivering are things like knowing the difference between self-esteem and confidence, because people think they're the same thing.
Are they not?
No, they're not.
They're
different. So people mistake like loud, confident people who are happy and jolly all the time as, really confident people with big self-esteem and things like that. But then when you look,
aren't we? No, we get it.
you said we.
I know.
You said we.
I know.
But
I know myself.
when you look at that person, the loudest, biggest, happiest person in the room is not all. They may have oodles and oodles of confidence, and it may ooze out of them. But the self-esteem, which is about their self-worth and how they value themselves.
Yeah.
When they're by themselves, do they look in the mirror and think, God, you're amazing? Or do they look and they think, oh, you're ugly and you're stupid and you're no good? That's the difference between confidence. You can have bags and bags of it, but your self-esteem can be really, really low.
Totally get it.
It's teaching the people difference and helping them and showing them tools and techniques to build them both up.
Nice.
Yeah.
But also, I'm kind of curious about your identity workshop that you're developing as well.
Yeah. So along life's roads, sometimes people can feel like they get lost or they are lost. So it's when people, and I've been there, hence why I wrote that workshop. There was a time in my life when I was like, God, is this all my life? Is this all I've got going for me? There's more to me, there's more to life than this. And then it was just like, but who even am I? So I just lost myself. So that workshop creates a space to enable a person to really look at who they are and to build themselves up and help to get them on the path to becoming the person that they want to be.
There's this Denzel Washington movie called Flight.
Yeah.
Right? Did you ever see that one?
I don't think I've seen that one. No.
You need to watch that.
Okay.
It's excellent. But like it ends on that very line of like his son comes to him after he's gone through all his trials and tribulations and everything, and he asks him. So the son asks the father, "Who are you?" And then he goes, "You know what? That's a really good question." No, but because the significance of it, because we probably know we think we know who he is because we've seen his transformation and his stuff in life. But then again, is that it's like you just said, there's so many people that are housewives or own companies or are performers, and they think that's who they are.
Yeah.
It's an aspect of who they are. You know what I mean? But then again, is if you were to ask, I call it the second question.
Yeah.
Like when you ask somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" and they go, "Oh, I'm fine," and you're supposed to just walk off.
Yeah.
Right? But then I go, no, but really, how are you?
Yeah.
And they go, "What?"
He really cares.
Times,
he wants to know.
Well, yeah. How many times has that happened? Have you experienced that?
Yeah.
And that second question is kind of like, yeah, that's a good question. Who are you? You know what I mean?
But that's it. It's finding your identity. It's finding out who you are. Truth
to power. So obviously, some people see it's a touchy subject or whatever, but when you're talking about counseling and being a counselor, because we're going to give out your link tree and all that of how people can find you, but like I thought it was kind of curious about you saying about your sessions that you offer. So go ahead, give your little plug.
Yeah, so the sessions that I offer, I do them in 6 hours. So it's a block of 6 sessions, 1 hour per session, and they're delivered either once a week or once every 2 weeks. It all depends on the availability of the person. And then once those 6 sessions are finished, we go on then to do like monthly meetings. So yeah, that's how that works.
Okay. So if anybody wanted to find you to experience the Martine Gibson effect.
Hey.
Martine is young to social media. You know what I mean? So she say, I got a link tree.
Do you know what? I'm not even going to lie. I've only just got it as well.
I just said you were young to
They're like I'm an infant. I'm a baby at it.
I mean, look, she's on LinkedIn, but
Getting there.
I mean, like, it's not like you like. Are you on Facebook or Insta and all that?
Yeah,
kind of stuff?
I'm on all of them, but I just.
Oh well, why'd you give me a link tree and not tell me that? Okay, I'm on the social medias as what?
Oh gosh, that's the thing. So my link tree it's RSG success. So you just put the link tree in, then it's / RSG for ready, set, go, and then success.
All right.
And that has got my email and my socials and everything all linked in there.
Well, see, look at that. Nobody's going to find that by just looking for Martine Gibson, though, are they?
Right, too.
I don't know. RSG success. Yeah. There we go.
RSG success.
And stuff. So you heard it here first. RSG success. We're going to have to keep repeating it. So that way people go, oh, I liked her, but I didn't know. You know what? I'm going to just say before I end this, I'm kind of disappointed because what we usually do is we do a show notes and everything, and we had a very lovely conversation, didn't we?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I said something really phenomenal.
Here we go.
And then she said, yes, that's phenomenal. What? She said, that's phenomenology. I tried to put phenomenal, it didn't work. And then I asked her, so what's phenomenology? She said, I don't know.
I forgot.
That's what happens when you have a good conversation with somebody.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about something really good, and then it reminds me. It's like, oh yeah, that's phenomenology.
Maybe. You know what? I wrote something under it, so I'm just gonna say it, see if it triggers you. So like we were talking about people, like with low self-esteem in a sense, right? And we were talking about what if I fall?
Oh yeah.
And then you said, well, what if you fly?
Yeah. Living in the what ifs. And basically, I think the conversation we were having before that was we were talking about how we all go through our own struggles and our own experiences. I get it now. I think I've remembered.
Go for it.
So let's say you and I having this experience, the same experience, but you'll go away and you'll tell someone about it, and I'll go away and tell someone about it. But we'll tell people different stories.
Of course, yeah.
Because we experienced it from our own phenomenological view, experience. That's it.
I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy it.
You get it.
Listen,
yeah.
Works for me. I hope it works for you, audience. So either way, I want to thank you, Martine Gibson, for joining me here in the new set here at Big Condo Online on Community Podcast and everything. Remember, if you were interested in support Martine's way, you will have to look for RSG Success. Ready, set, go.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, well, whatever you do, and I'm Chase Johnson Lynch, and we out of here.
Phenomenological way.
Phenomenological. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street.
You've got